Is how you look a priority for you? Or do you feel like maybe doing your hair and makeup is just a luxury that you cannot afford right now as a mum? Because, looking good is surely just a superficial thing, right? Well, actually, I don't think it is. If you feel good about the way you look, it can make a huge difference to your day. Today, I want to talk to you about how great it can feel to take pride in your appearance. And I'm going to give you some really small, simple tips to incorporate a little bit of that luxury grooming into your morning routine. I've come to realise that there's this incredible mindset shift that happens when we raise our standards from not feeling embarrassed to leave the house to feeling really good about how we look. Now, I've noticed that all women seem to have this kind of minimum standards for their own looks. Whether you are like my nan, who would never leave the house without high heels, a full face of makeup, perfectly styled hair. Windy days were tricky for her. Or maybe you're the girl who goes out in nothing but a pair of Converse and a I don't give a attitude. But whichever one you are, we've all got this minimum set of standards. Now, after I had baby number 1, my minimum standard was to not be embarrassed to leave the house. And really I had a basic set of principles, which actually you could probably refer to them as basic hygiene standards. My standards were not very high at all. So let me just tell you a little bit about what my standards were. Teeth must be brushed twice a day. Once a day is only acceptable on really bad days. Hair must be brushed every day, at least once. Washed every other day. Could be stretched another day with enough dry shampoo. Makeup was a rarity, and the thought of putting jewellery on to leave the house, well, that was just kind of laughable. It was never going to happen. And do you know what? On the good days when I did put a bit of makeup on and I went out and about with my baby, I'd feel kind of better about me. But I would still look around at these other mums that had makeup and jewellery and looked lovely and think, gosh, don't they look nice? How do they do it? I wish I looked like that. And then I'd catch myself thinking, wouldn't it be nice if someone thought that about me? And this is when I realised actually something's got to change. I need to go out feeling good about me. And without really knowing it, I'd stumbled upon something quite important. The mindset shift for raising your standards is kind of huge, because we're really talking about your priorities, and changing priorities is quite a big thing. But the steps involved to make yourself feel good and to look good in the morning don't have to be huge. That's the really interesting point. So when I had my moment of realisation things had to change, I decided to ask my husband for a pair of earrings for Christmas. And I had a very specific brief for these earrings. They had to be special and sparkly and gorgeous and beautiful, but they could not be pullable, grabbable by little fingers. They had to be something that I could wear every day. I could wear them in bed, I could wear them in the shower, and they went with every outfit I had. And you know what? He delivered. And I had a gorgeous pair of sparkly stud earrings that I wore every day. And even on those days when I couldn't quite get round to washing my hair and I tied my hair up, you could see these lovely earrings, and I felt quite a bit better. So when my birthday came round, I thought I would try this trick again, and I asked for a necklace. Now, necklaces inherently are grabbable and pullable, but I thought, you know what, we'll give it a go. And I have the same brief as before. It's got to be sparkly and make me feel special and wonderful and beautiful, but go with everything. I'm able to sleep in it and able to wear it in the shower. And it made a big difference yet again. Having this lovely jewellery that I always wore every single day, I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to put it on in the morning. But just having it there made me feel better about how I looked when I went out. And I made a couple of other little changes as well. So I decided to buy a tinted moisturiser because I was already moisturising my face. I hate that kind of dry feeling that you get. So why not make my routine work for me? So I've doubled that up. And in the summer I always made sure I bought one with a bit of SPF in it as well. So brilliant, another job done. I made it a bare minimum to always have a bit of mascara on, a bit of bronzer on, and, you know, when it's been a bad night, a little bit of Touche Clay. That was another Christmas present that I asked for one year. So you can see I've added in just tiny little things, and my makeup routine took me less than 5 minutes in the morning. My toddlers knew that Mummy had to do her makeup just as Mummy had to brush her teeth. Those things were non-negotiable. And sometimes, even now, I still do my makeup with a baby or toddler sat on my lap, and they can do their makeup and play with the brushes and whatever else. And sometimes they end up with a smear of bronzer across their forehead. That's fine, because I start the day feeling good about how I look. So the other thing that I made non-negotiable for me was washing my hair. Now, previously I was washing it maybe every other day if I was lucky, stretching it to once every 3 or 4 days with the use of dry shampoo. And actually I dread to think what that was doing in terms of my health. You know, inhaling that stuff and putting it in my scalp can't have been good. I really should have researched some natural alternatives. I'm sure there's some brilliant ones out there. Maybe I'll do another video on that for you guys. I'll do my research. Anyway, I made that a non-negotiable. And there are still some days when I don't get to have a shower and wash my hair in the morning, and that's okay because it is very rare. The way I managed to get this into my routine was to talk about it with my husband. Now, sometimes it meant that I needed to get up a little bit earlier so I could shower when he was here, before he'd gone to work, when he was here to watch the children. But most days it just meant me reminding him that it was important to me to be able to shower, and also to kind of acknowledge the fact that a woman's shower is different to a men's. Men's go in, you know, a man goes in and it's a 5-minute shower and he needs 5 minutes to do it. For a woman, even if you only take 5 minutes in the shower, you come out and you've still got a head of wet hair that needs drying. You know, particularly in the winter in England, you know, we can't wander around with wet hair dripping down us. It just doesn't work. So we actually need a little bit of time either side of a shower. And I know this sounds really silly, it sounds so superficial, but the impact of saying to my other half, actually, I need 10-15 minutes in the morning when you can watch the children so I can have my shower, so I can have clean hair, so I can feel good about me for the whole day. He was actually really willing to do that. But it was only because I understood and he understood that kind of long-term benefit, that big impact it's going to have on my day and my mindset for the rest of the day. So, if you aren't feeling great about how you look through the day, maybe your minimum standard is not embarrassed when the postman knocks. If that's true for you, then I really want you to try and think, what can you add to your morning routine? What can you make non-negotiable for you to make sure you feel good about your day, because you deserve to feel good?